Obviously, the games start on Friday. Do you know what the rotation is going to be, or are you able to let us know who's going to pitch on Friday, Saturday, and Sunday?
I think Saturday and Sunday will be, interesting or unknown until it comes. Maybe a little bit of indication on Saturday. I can tell you with 100% certainty Sunday will be a little bit more TBA with what we got going on. 2-3 arms, either not available or questionable. Friday after today's bullpens, we'll have a definite indication. So if we were to do this 24 hours from now, I'd have no problem with telling you what'll go on Friday. But Saturday will be a little bit of a wait-and-see deal, probably later in the week, maybe even not till Friday after the game, and then Sunday will be TBA. So it's just where we're at with the personnel we have, but also it is the beginning of the year. So we'll sort through some things and find out what we got.
Safe to say Chase will pitch against his old team at some point over the weekend?
Yeah, for sure. In a prominent role. What that role is, we'll see. But he did a good job, as well as some others this past weekend, because it was really our last go at it scrimmage-wise. And, it is only one weekend, and baseball is a game of many repetitions, but it was kind of the last impression that some guys were able to leave.
You have a weird mix of new faces in the lineup, in the rotation, but you also have some veterans that have been here a while. Does this team take on the personality of last year's team, or is there a new personality to this team? Have you even figured it out yet?
No, I think there's a new personality, same brand name. So I don't know if it's, quite like Breyer's ice cream and, you got French vanilla and chocolate. It's in the same family, but they've got their own flavor as far as how they like to do things. And a lot of the same songs they like to listen to, but they sprinkle in new ones and keep me up to date, I guess. So I'd like to think we'd play ball the same way we did last year and the year before and even the years prior. But as you mentioned, there's going to be different bodies and faces, wearing the uniform. So that'll change the script a little bit. And that's what's been fun, just kind of watching these guys evolve into the 2022 team.
How important is having guys like Evan and Luke and Redmond who have been around for such a long time and keeping that going?
It takes pressure off the coaches, so it's very important. They get to do our job a little bit and coach these younger guys and even guys that are similar in age, but they just, again, game of repetitions, and they've got a bunch under their belt. But they've also through the years seen what works, what doesn't, what it takes, and what the formula is, how long the season is, and they can kind of, administer the things that we're saying to the guys. They can probably say it even better because they're the guys' age on the team.
What do you remember seeing from Chase last year at Georgia Southern, and how much did that help recruiting him here?
I remember we kept swinging and missing. It was definitely – they had a lefty that we really liked, and he went to the draft. But they had several good arms they threw at us. Chase was just one of many, but he seemed to get the most swing and misses. Our guys last year really just, for whatever reason, just got off to a slow start offensively, and he was one that took advantage of that. So that's what stuck out. And then somewhere along the line in the summer, he decided he was going to move. I don't know if it had to do with the pitching coach change there or what. And kind of like Drew Gilbert, he looked at 4 or 5 SEC schools and Texas Tech, and very fortunate to have him on board because he's got a great arm, but he's also an incredible kid.
How excited are those guys that have been here to get out and play again this year, not only after the success last year, but how last year ended as well?
Yeah, I think there was a little extra fuel in the fall. That carryover of Omaha. You finish on a 2-loss streak, if you want to call it that, or you just finish, kind of having your heart ripped out a little bit, and it takes a while for that to go away. Now, since January rolled around and the guys came back, it's been a different tone. It's been almost kind of like you're in a fight camp, like Scott Holtzman, and you're preparing, to go into the ring, and that's what we'll do this weekend, and then we'll let the rest of the season follow. But these guys have done a good job of just kind of making us feel better at coaches that they're taking their preparation seriously, and their number one focus is, again, on the 2022 team opening the season this coming weekend against Georgia Southern.
Felt like that walk-off last year against Georgia Southern kind of set the tone for the season. Is it important to set the tone this weekend?
I think really what's important this weekend is there's very few certain things in sports, especially college athletics, but I think it's certain that we're both going to get what we want. And this early in the year, we need to get our guys on the field. We need to get repetitions, and there needs to be good competition so that both of us can have a feel for what a competitive conference weekend looks like. And last year, you're alluding to a game that went 14 innings, I believe. what does it look like to be in a game where if you get a bunt down, you win. If you don't make a play this way or that way, you don't win. And I think, in the spirit of kind of repeating what went on last year, it'll be a competitive series, and we'll both get value in that.
Do you know who your starting infielders are at this point, or do you expect to cycle through a few different guys there this weekend?
I think on the corners, Trey Lipscomb and Luke Lipsius have kind of certified themselves, and that's kind of what we thought all along. The middle's been very competitive, so I'm not trying to keep anything from those guys at all. I just hate to tell you two names, and then we sit up in the office and think there's a better reason to go with a guy. So I will say this, on the infield, especially in those middle spots, we'll probably use 3, if not 4 different guys the first weekend.
Coach, has it hit you yet that the season is just about to begin?
No, I mean, this helps, getting together with you guys, and believe it or not, I don't know if you guys say bad things about me or not, but I'd rather see you guys in person than do Zoom. So sun's shining, we got annoying noises in the background, but it's for good reason. They're trying to get the stadium ready. We have new seats here. So there's a lot to get excited about, but I think for the coaches, every time we get, 2 minutes of exhilaration, you add 58 minutes of having to get prepared, and just make sure you feel good about everything being where it needs to be so the kids are in a successful position come Friday.
What makes you most excited about this year coming off the success from last year?
To see the biggest crowd that's ever been at Lindsey Nelson Stadium. I know we've got to play and perform in a way that's going to attract those fans, but just based off season tickets and then also just the sheer numbers of there's more seats available, you'd like to think it would be the biggest baseball crowd in Tennessee history somewhere along the course of this season. So that's something that these kids have fought for. And some of the younger guys that haven't played here yet, it's what they signed up for when we went over things in recruiting. So that's my first instinct, along with we just got done talking about competing against a good program in Georgia Southern. It'll be good to compete again. When you do a Fall World Series or a scrimmage or other drills in practice, there's a level of competition, even in recruiting. But again, I think what the coaches signed up for, along with recruits, is you want to find out what you can and can't do on the battlefield as it relates to baseball, not a real battlefield, and we'll get to do that real soon.
What kind of atmosphere are you expecting this weekend?
I don't know. It just was so weird last year. Now the postseason was the postseason, but it's different and unique. And then we had seating regulations all throughout last year, and the weather looks to be a little cool on Friday, but the good Lord made blankets and fleeces for a reason. So maybe one extra layer and you're good. When the sun's shining, regardless of temperature, it's always nice in this setting. We're kind of closed off in here, and then Saturday and Sunday are gorgeous. So I expect one of those 3 days to kind of have that vibe that has been in the air and it's been in the media and in the papers, that people like these kids and they like the fact that it's a quaint environment here and you can come watch a high level of baseball for a decent price.
Are you more anxious to see how guys in new roles adjust to situations, or to see kind of what your team looks like baseball-wise?
I don't even know if – I think it's a fair question, but I don't even know if anxious is the right word. I just think it's time. It's time to see, can some of these guys do what they're doing to our players in scrimmages against the opponent, and how do the externalities affect our guys in a negative or a positive fashion? It's just – I think it's probably something that every coach in the country would say right now. It's just time to do it. And we've put in a lot of repetitions from the fall leading up to this, and I'd like to think we're prepared, but we got a couple more days to get in some more work. And then Friday, I'm just anxious to hear somebody. Hopefully we get a little kid to do it, say play ball, and then from there we'll have a lot of questions that come up that are new and some old questions be answered.
Time for 2 more guys.
Do you have any other injuries other than Blade and Halverson at this point?
I don't know. Sewell does not have a major injury, just a ground ball that nicked off the top of his finger. So I don't know that he'll be available this weekend. And I think we've been through this before. Sometimes people get frustrated, even the players with me. We're always going to play it conservative at the end of the year, and then or at the beginning of the year, I'm sorry. And then at the end of the year, which is what I was thinking of, we'll give a guy to like Sewell, a reliever, the ball and let him go as long as he can in the SEC tournament, or run a reliever out there multiple times with our season on the line. But for now, we'll play it conservative, and if anything, it opens up opportunity for guys who maybe wouldn't get one early in the year to show I belong to be involved in the mix when conference rolls around.
Never good to have your aces not on the field, but does this open up opportunities for some of the younger guys so you guys can kind of see what they got on the mound?
Yeah, and I think, a big thing in baseball and in sports in general is self-belief. And when you're behind somebody in a depth chart, it shouldn't be this way, but it's a temptation for a kid to see himself as inferior, or it's not my time yet because of my age, or this is the guy that you all talk about, so he's supposed to do this and I'm only supposed to do this. I think it gives a chance not only to get out there on the mound or in the batter's box, but a chance to shed that. Really, it's almost kind of an excuse or a misnomer that an athlete shouldn't have, and it gives them a reason or an excuse to believe in themselves that much more. And I think we've got some kids that if they believe in themselves, which when they look in the mirror and they're wearing our jersey, not that ours is better than anyone else's, but it ain't easy to get. They should have that self-belief, and when they get their opportunity, have fun with it and see what happens. You good?
Yeah. How are you?